Hello? I can't hear you. Sister, I can't hear you.
Okay. We
There we
are
go.
live. We are gonna wait for people to come in. Um, we're gonna click like. We want people to share it. So we're gonna wait, and in the midst of that, we are going to just gonna talk briefly before we introduce everybody. Try to see if we can get some people coming in the room. I'm gonna see if I can tag some people. Um,
Did you go ahead and on
we
Facebook
kind of
too so I can share it?
yeah. So we are live. Yes, we are. You should be able to.
Mine's not coming up yet. You
I
tag me
think I
too?
just shared it with you. Yeah. We could probably just start tagging different men in it.
Mine's not
Um,
coming.
I think I just shared it with you. Yeah. Right. And okay. All right. Well, we'll just go ahead and get started with introductions. Let's get to it. All right. So I'm Audrey. I'm one of the hosts of the Sistas Field podcast. I'm here with my sister.
I'm Liz.
You gonna
Hey,
introduce
Baby
yourself?
Teacher Rock. Yep, I'm Liz. Baby Teacher Rock.
Yes, and we would like the men to introduce themselves. Just give us your name, if you don't mind. Give us your age, if you're married or not, and
Occupation.
just a little something about you. Your
Yeah.
occupation.
uh,
You
Uh,
can go ahead,
go
Vernon.
ahead.
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead, brother.
uh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I go first. Yeah, my name is Vernon. I'm 30 years old. Um, my current occupation is a cook at a hospital, Jackson Park Hospital to be exact. And I'm currently in school for business management administration. I'm at DeVry University, junior. Yeah, I
Okay.
like.
Uh,
Sorry, my bad to cut you off. I like music. I like art, and I like just being a creative. That's it.
okay, go ahead, Ernest. You can go next.
Okay, my name is Ernest Archer. I'm from Houston, Texas. I am married. I've been with Kelsey for 12 years, been married to her for 10. We are business owners. We own a non-emergency medical transportation called Archer's of Science Third Coast Transportation. Been doing that for 3.5 years now. A little about myself, I like to fish, like basketball, like football, love music, love being with my children, love being around my wife. And pretty much I just like being I'm just laid back and down there.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
CJ.
My name is CJ. My mom, she's pretty teacher rocks. I'm 22. I'm married. I've been married for 4 months now. I do my occupation is digital software. I sell digital software for like Google, as well as I am a football coach. So previous college football player, and I love football. I love to coach, as well as I love God. I'm a man of God, and I love God, and I love His people.
All right.
All right, go ahead, sister. You can go ahead and take it off and start it.
Well, since we just came out of Mother's Day and we're about to enter into the next month, which is Father's Day, so we thought it would be a great thing to have our
Fix
men.
your mic, sister.
Oh,
Kind of
sorry.
fix your mic. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, is that better? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So we thought it would be great to have a men perspective on the show, just to kind of, we talk a lot about different things, but it's nothing like hearing the men's side of it and how they feel and how they think. That we sometimes we assume that we know, but it's better coming from them um actually hearing it from the man's voice. Um, okay. Who knows? Is my mic okay? Is
Is
that
my mic
better?
Now
okay?
it's good. There we go.
Okay. How is mine? Is that better?
Yep.
Better?
Yes, better.
Okay.
Okay, everybody here?
Just got to talk
Okay.
into it. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, so we just want to start off. So we thank our gentlemen for coming in and just giving us, coming in and taking the opportunity of taking this time to just talk with us. Because one thing about like my sister and myself, our mission is really we want to change lives, help people, be able to say things that people don't say and answer questions that people want to know, but they're afraid or they don't feel that they don't have a safe space to be able to do that. So we're so glad to have you guys on here. And
Yes.
so get your perspective. It said the way are we in this particular season, we'll end it with the men. All right.
Yeah. Yes. I think we are trodden into a sacred territory. Like she said, we letting the man speak and not just with their voices, but with their hearts. So, sister, you can go ahead and start with the first question, and
All
we'll
right.
just go around from each individual.
All right. So we're gonna hit the first topic. We're gonna talk about mental and emotional health. So our first question will be, what are some emotional battles you face but rarely talk about? So whoever want to jump in.
Okay, I got that one. Okay. Actually, it's I'm 45 years old, so I got three older brothers in front of me. I'm the baby out of four. So growing up around the time around the 80s, my father all he did was work, and my mother was the one that was always at the house. She took care of home, made sure your clothes were on, made sure you ate. So it was hard to tell my father a lot of things growing up because he had 10 brothers and sisters, and his daddy only had one way. The way he suggesting them is the way he turned it to us. So you can ask my father a simple question like I used to ask my dad, I need help with my homework. And me ask for help, end up, I end up getting slapped upside the head. Like, hey man, go get a belt since you don't know what that means. So it's like, hey man, if I'm gonna get beat, I'm what's the use to ask for help if when I'm asked for it, I'm getting punished for it. So I grew up in my whole life from middle school all the way to high school. I hardly asked for anything. I used to go to my mother. My mother wasn't. I ain't gonna say she wasn't as intelligent, but he had a type of job to where he wasn't smart enough to know this stuff. So it was real damaging at first. You kind of couldn't talk to him about certain things, and then when it came to women, I didn't talk to him about that. So I had to learn by talking to other people or watching, seeing what you see on cable or whatever. So, and then when the birds and the bees talk actually happened, I was like, man,
Like, man,
we passed that
we
part. So now that I have boys,
Hmm.
I tell my boys that I got a 10-year-old. Like, hey man, whatever you're going through, I want you to be honest because I don't want you to grow up without knowing that you can't ever talk to me about anything. Because if I don't teach you, somebody else will. So, and the way they're gonna teach you is not gonna be that I want you to be taught. And you have a lot of men out here as well as women that grow up being taught the wrong way, and we want to blame somebody else when really the blame is on ourselves because we could have took the reins and fixed that a long time ago by just coming out and just not being hard as some men are. Because we had a mentality like, I'm a man, I'm hard. I'll teach my son how to be hard. And when you do that, you push him away because he has no emotions. He don't know how to talk to a woman. Yes, he don't. He do the children the same way. Everybody you come in contact with is a problem. You want to fight. You don't want to talk to anybody. So for me, it was when I found Kyosha, I was actually able to I know when I was telling her stuff, she wouldn't just say, "Wow, how can you feel that way?" I'm like, she'd say, "Wow, you actually dealt with that, and you didn't end up in the hospital." And I'm like, man, that's crazy. So I actually had somebody that would actually listen and then give feedback because I don't think she ever went through stuff like that. Like she probably did, but from my experiences growing up from the age of like 8 all the way to like 16, well, hey man, I need your help. And I don't hate him
Wow.
for it, but to this day, I can talk to him like, hey, Pops, you remember when, man, I asked you what 6 times 6 was? And I gave you the wrong answer. You hit me upside my head with a pencil. I said, man, why you do that?
Wow.
He said, man, cause you didn't know. I said, I didn't know. I said, I needed help. He said, but yeah,
Mm.
eventually, he said, but yeah, he said, but eventually you got it right. I said, yeah, man, but it was a time where I knew the answer, but I was afraid to say it because I thought I was gonna get hit. So from the ages to this era right now, I mean, I tell my kids, my older kids, I say, man, we were a lot stronger than y'all coming up, man. We took things on the chin. We you took an L the next day. You took that L and kept it moving. We didn't shoot up schools. We didn't bring stuff like that to school. I mean, if it was a misunderstanding, we solved it with our fists and we talked about it. So and nobody got hurt after that. I say, man, but nowadays I say, man, this microwave generation, I say, man, y'all don't know how to, y'all are not patient. Your friend, I mean, you hang around people, man, that don't care nothing about you, and I tell my kids the same thing my father told me, which something actually stuck. Uh, don't let your friends choose you. You choose them. Because
Right.
whoever you hang around is a representation of yourself. You cannot sow with eagles running with turkeys. And when I say, wow, that's kind of deep. I say I never thought about it. I said, man, well, turkeys can't fly, eagles can. So I
Mm.
watch the group I hang around, and for that reason, I've never been to jail. I have speed tickets here and there, but I never a true run in with the law. So with that being said, I know I probably overshot my time, but
That's okay.
It's
That's
okay.
okay. I mean, we really. I know the other men want to chime in on things that you said. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, y'all go ahead. I want to hear what y'all have to say.
Yeah, you can go, cuz.
You said me?
Yeah, you can go, cuz.
Yeah. So he made a lot of good points for sure. I definitely believe we live in a culture where men are expected to be hard. They're expected to show no emotion. They're expected to shut up and work, bring money in, and really, there's a lot of men in this world now that are dealing with mental illnesses and demons and real
Yeah.
stuff that they don't feel like they can really talk to anyone. Why? Because we live in a culture that tells you, "Oh man, you soft if man, you got feeling. Oh man, you cried, man. Oh man, you soft, bro." Like, and realistically, that is a false narrative that was created for men. And if we look back to where that came from, it never came from a place of wholeness. It always came from broken people.
Hmm.
And I think for me, growing up, like I'm learning, and as I'm getting older, I'm learning how to that it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to have feelings. No, I'm not going to walk around and just drag and just have the world dragging on my back. But what I do understand is the killings we see, the people that fall into drugs, right? The people that are out here committing suicide. These aren't people that are just feeling like they can be open with people, right? Because a lot of this stuff could be stopped if there was people out here actually, communicating. And men, that's why even with the kids I coach, making them understand that hey, like it's okay to come to me as a coach and tell me, coach, like I got some stuff going on at home that it's not going right, or maybe hey, I'm struggling in school, but it's really I'm trying to get, and I'm still learning myself, understanding where exactly did this narrative start. Because for me, I had to learn, and me myself, even having a wife now, like that, where I have the opportunity to have someone that's talking to me and they want me to open up, when I was used to in a world telling you, "Bro, don't say nothing, like keep your mouth closed, just hey, just play football, just don't do anything," and thinking that's going to be sustainable. But realistically, I've actually saw more pain in that part of trying to hide things, because now you're dealing with it within yourself. And I think for me, it was just, as obviously growing up, becoming a man, and sometimes you feel like your pride gets in the way, because like, man, I don't want to ask this question because, like you said, like, what if I don't know? Like, is it okay to not know? You know what I mean? So for me, that's what I would say. Just growing up as a young man now, really adopting a new narrative of what is a real man, right? And not this definition of a man that the world has created me to fall in line of. So
That's good.
Yeah, that was good. That was great.
Yep.
Yep. Again, Vernon, for all the viewers and listeners. Um, some things that I go through that I really talk about. Um, I go through a few things. Um, I'm not gonna get too deep in them. Uh, just becoming a man, like the other two guys said. Just trying to maintain your manhood and just trying to keep a steady, float and a stable mentality. You know, it's kind of hard when you got a lot of stereotypes out here for the man, and you know, so it challenged you to strengthen your thinking, and your decision making, as it concerns yourself and the standards you put in place, as you structure your life. So um, that comes with emotional stress, because you have people depending on you. Like Ernest said, he got, you know, two boys. What is it? Two? You said two boys, or is it
I got five.
five? You said, I'm sorry, yeah, five boys. And I didn't mention more not in the beginning, but I have two boys, one five and the other one one. Just maintaining and just having just coming into that standing that realization that time is moving and they're growing. So I have to be in that space where I'm doing the same. As time is moving, I'm growing, and I'm giving everything that I'm learning to my children and to anybody around me that I feel is capable. You know, it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge because I just come from a neighborhood and around people that didn't really have my best interest. So I didn't really get to this like space of thinking until I was alone. So it's kind of like crazy being right here, and then it's like I have like this sense of nervousness because I'm not used to being in this space, right? But it also challenged me too, and it keeps me like not in an idle mind, you know, because you can go out in the world with the wrong attitude, and one decision could ruin everything you work for, put it your family in jeopardy, and that is intense, for the black man out here because we move a lot of black men move in anger, they move and with no guidance, and that's hard, that's hard. So, um, and I know that's what a lot of excuse me, I know that's what a lot of guys like myself and other guys, like Ernest and my cousin, we go through that, you know. We all go through that as men, regardless of the background we from. We all go through that trying to find our manhood and just trying to stabilize that and maintain it, you know.
How do you all cope with
Oh
anxiety?
my. Go ahead.
Or how do you all cope with the stress and anxiety? Like what are you guys coping mechanisms?
Right, of becoming a man. You guys got me already. Like we only one question in,
Hold
and
on. Can you repeat the last part of that question?
I was saying, how do you all like cope with the stress and anxiety and or depression? Just the weight that you guys with this, on you. How do you all deal? What are you all coping mechanisms that you can be able to, still push forward and overcome and still be able to do what you do, get up every day, go to work, take care of your family? Like, how do you all cope with the stresses and the anxieties?
That's a lot of Jesus, man.
right,
That's a lot of Jesus and a lot of spousal support. And when you see who you're doing it for, because like Vernon, Vernon told Vernon I have five boys, one girl, five boys, one girl. So my youngest three, one is 10, one is 6, one is 3. So every morning with those three, and their reflection me when they walk out here. I say how they dressed. They don't walk out here wrinkled. They don't walk out here dirty. The hair comb, 10-year-old, he want to smell good now. So he cares about his appearance. So not to care less about me. I tell my wife, I don't care about how I look when I walk out here. I got you already. So I don't care. So When I walk out of here, I'm like, I know my kids are straight. I don't mind saying, "Hey, man, I love you. Do good in school." I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that. So the way and another way I deal with it, my wife will tell you, I go outside every night, put my headphones on, play dominoes on my phone, and that's a stress relief because um, what a man deals with in a day, really, you can't put that in the hour 2 hour conversation. If me, Vernon, and CJ sat down and we were just by ourselves, we could talk about this all day. And it would be like, hey man, this, and we could all relate off of one man's conversation. Hey man, I had to deal with that. Man, how did you deal with that today? Because man, my day was hard. I said, man, how was your day? Man, you won't believe it, bro. And that's how I started. But then I have friends I talk to like that. I say, hey man, hey, what's going on, man? Hey, good to hear from you, man. How was your day? Man, you won't believe the day I had. I say, bro, hey man, hey, tell me, hey man, go ahead, hey man, let's talk about it. Because generation now, man, people hold stress because you're afraid of getting judged. So you can't tell me how I feel. So if I say, man, I had to do this, well, why didn't you do well? Hey, man, well, it was my situation. This is how I handled it, man. I felt better by doing it that way. So whatever you can do, man, to get stress off you, I don't care if you got to talk to your dog. I mean, do what you got to do because the dog will never judge you. So
Well,
that's
that's
the
a good point he made. That's a good point you made. So with him ending that way, that's I think with men, most of our coping mechanisms they consist of something that has to do with no judgment, right? So finding the no judgment zone, and I think for me personally, I would say, and my wife tells me, she's like, man, hey, like you need to go with your friends or go train the kid or like go do because for me, I think I'm in that position of learning. Like I'm learning how to have outlets because sometimes you have such a tunnel vision with life where you don't you don't really feel like you have time to cope or time to really just get your outlet. Now, what I do like every day, like you said, Jesus, I got to get in my word. I got to pray when I'm out of that sense of connection with the Father. That's when things start to believe it more for me. So I think for me, and that's one thing I've really come to a revelation about when like just learning is I know that I can go to God and He doesn't judge me, right? Because He knows what I'm going through. He knows that what I'm dealing with before it even happens, and He knows my heart. And I think sometimes like talking to Him, I promise you, sometimes I'm talking to Him and I sometimes just tell him, Lord, because sometimes even as a man, learning how to really express how you feel is hard. Learning like how to put it into words because sometimes, man, I go to God and be like, man, Lord, like I don't even know what I'm feeling because I think we've got so used to bottling everything up inside that now, like he said, a lot of us just go off of anger. We're just angry all the time. We're just everything we do. We come home, hey, how was your day? Oh, it was all right. And not understanding everything you do comes from that anger. And now the way I get through is reading my word, is talking to some brothers, like really just getting it out because for me as a man, when I shut down is when I feel like I'm talking to someone and I feel like I can't truly be who I need to like I can't fully be vulnerable or transparent because I feel like when I'm talking to you I'm going to be judged. So talking to my wife, talking to the Lord, like these are things that I do that I'm like it has to feel like a no judgment zone or just naturally I feel like I just keep it all inside because as men we rather not get whole and not be judged than fully be whole and be like we would much rather just hold it inside and not be whole than release it out to someone and get judged.
Hmm, that was
Um,
good. What you say, Donnie?
how do what's the question again?
We're just asking about coping mechanisms and how you deal with the stress and how do you deal with
Anxiety or depression?
Uh, hmm. well, I'm gonna be honest, man.
No,
I,
no
uh,
judge. This is a safe space. This is
I just use marijuana recreation. That's it. I do that, and for me, I think that's just one way for me, because I do go through a lot. Um, And even now that I'm 30 years old, like I don't even do marijuana the same as I used to when I was younger. Like now it's like because I really know the effects and it really, it's just something for me to kind of like relax back for a little minute and take my mind off a lot of things. But I'm working out of that because even in the process of that, um, there are some disadvantages, with smoking marijuana. So that has pushed me into I paint. I'm working my way into doing that. I write, and I got a like a little stack of books right here that I'm collecting. Um, I'm really just trying to find different coping mechanisms to deal with my stress because I'm not married, single. Uh, and I have family, but just being the age I am and wanting the things that I want out of life, uh, it's like it's forcing me to just kind of know how to be alone and just embrace my individuality just as a man. You know, just working out. You know, exercising, good eating habits. Getting just venturing off into different things. Uh, I've came into the light about those things, and I've currently been transitioning into those things. But I do currently still smoke marijuana. But yeah, I think that's one of my coping mechanisms that I use to cope with my stress. I'm not like an angry person. I would say. Because I do have my family. I got my mom. Like if I feel like I need to talk to her about something, I can talk to her. My brother Josh, I know he in the chat. I know he watching. Shout out to you, Josh. Yeah, I I go to him. Um, I'm a pretty open person, so um, I'm kind of insightful about the people who are wise that are around me. So I know that if I need someone to talk to, I can go to them. And I'm just working out of that phase where you don't have people to talk to, or when you feel like you don't have people to talk to when really you do. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a transition, because it's something that men we have to learn how to do. You know,
And
Yeah.
man,
So
well,
it kind of brings me.
I think that go. You got something to say, Liz?
So I was just saying it kind of brings us to that third one about do they feel like they have enough space to be vulnerable without judging. So they really talked about that as well.
Hmm.
On, not being judged and the vulnerability. If they have a space that's safe, then they can feel like they can, use that space to be vulnerable and transparent. That was just one of the things that was one of the questions you guys kind of moved right into without us even asking.
Yeah, I was thinking. There's a scripture that says, "His strength is made perfect in weakness." Vulnerability doesn't weaken you as a man; it sanctifies you.
And it shows you how strong you really are,
Yeah.
because so many people keep it in, close it up, and it's filters, and then they'll take it out on different
Hmm.
people because they need to release it. They need that safe space. They need to be able to be vulnerable because men have feelings just the way women do. Men hurt just as we do, and sometimes it's the persona or the um the, the expectation that men are supposed to be the strongest and not have that vulnerability. But being able to be vulnerable show how strong you really are. So,
Hmm.
it's a
can I
good
say
thing.
something? Can I say something one time? I know that statement I made maybe like a minute ago about me saying that I wasn't married. Cause hey, I really look up to your relationship, because you're younger than me, and it's like to watch you be so successful, and it's just something that I know that I want, it's something that I want, and I know that in order for me to get there, I have to do what it takes to be successful, and to have a wife to confide in or to really that wants to know how you feeling, I know it's like a gift from God. You know what I'm saying? So no offense to that statement. I just had to clear that up.
you
Yeah,
know something, Bernie, man, Bernie. You know something, Bernie. It takes a man to say what you just said, man.
for sure.
It takes a man
For real,
to, to,
man.
to, to to say something like that. Now, that's something you tell somebody, man. I'll talk to my brother on the phone. I might say, hey, man, man, I'm proud of you. But when you're around other people and you can say
Yeah,
that the way you said it from your heart like that, man, hey, man, that means a lot.
yes,
For real.
sir.
And God's going to bless you with what you're looking for.
Mhm. So let me ask you guys a question. What why do you think that is a lot of men out here are having a hard time taking that step to find them a wife, or what do you think that you all men, so we don't know what y'all think, but you all probably talk to other men and have a conversation. what what is it that's holding these men back from really wanting to commit and see that, you know, that wife is a good thing? Like, what do you all think that that's about?
The streets, because
That's
they in
one.
the streets,
One. That's one.
and the wives they either in the house or they at work somewhere. They handling business. They somewhere where they supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, and these guys they want to be in the street. There's men out here that are really real husbands, and there are real women out here that are real wives. And it's hard to see it now because they filtered it, with the internet. They got all these social platforms, they got all these things that people can use to filter the truth, or play with it, and make a joke of it, right? And all it does is play with the man and the woman consciousness. It plays with their insecurities, right? And now men sitting back thinking like, man, do she really do? Is it really something if I want to go half with her on the bills or something, While the other man, he probably in a better position to do it. But it might just work for you and your relationship. But you watching the internet, and it makes everything hard for you to determine what you feel is right, or what God may say is the right thing, to do. So it's like I said, it's a lot of things that's filtering the truth, and
Well,
that
I know
stops
it.
that
for me,
creates confusion. Sorry, my bad,
oh, go,
Aaron.
go ahead, Bert. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
You, you, make,
I'm
you, make,
good.
you make a good point, and I want to hear the rest of that.
Yeah, man, I mean, well, it's the social media is just filtering the truth. And it's I've been in two relationships and they didn't work, and I felt like with all my imperfections, my heart was done. I think my I had effort. I think I brought the effort. I brought my true self. Now at that time I didn't know what growing, was, or what I needed to do to grow, right? So um part of men not knowing if they want to be in a relationship or married or being able to be in that kind of position is because they ain't able to grow, because a relationship requires two people to do something together and make it work. You know, If, a marriage it requires two people to agree on something and we make this work. So they'll do his part, right? So if a guy can't get up and go and be committed to a job, or if he can't, be committed to his kids, or be, like how can he be committed to any other thing? So I think
Sure.
men have to realize what they have to do first before they go into a level. Like my cousin, Red. He's at a place. You at a place. I feel like you at a place where marriage. that was man. That was like probably the only thing missing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now you at peace. Like you had God before. You had your life. You had all your success. And it's like I need that woman, right? And it's like the men have to know what step, what process to go through in order to get to that point. You know, we have to be secure with ourselves first before we can get to that point where we're secure with another woman. So that I think that's what's missing. It's the insecurity within the male, within the male generation, you know, to where we can't be secure, which does not allow us to proceed to the next level, you know, in a relationship or in our success or with family or you know. uh, It's definitely something.
Hit the nail on the head with that burn. I was gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say it was trust for me. Before I met my wife, man, I just came out of a bad relationship, and my heart was broke. And the type of person I was before that, I was the one breaking hearts when I was younger. So when it finally happened to me, I was 29 years old. So I was like, man, I say, and I was thinking and something, I could hear something laughing. Like I said, man, why me? And so I said, hey, man, why not you? You've been doing some last your turn. So when I met Kiyosha, I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I was 29 years old. With the last one, then I was 31 going 32. I met her and I still wasn't a man. So I didn't become that until I actually knew something, got with somebody, man, that was actually responsible. So she had children already. So I didn't. So when I was like, I had to actually, okay, I had to hit the ground running. And the type of man I was, I said, well, I want to show them that what I can do as a man. So she showed me that she could trust me by bringing me around her children. So I had to give her that exact same trust. I had to give it back to her. And then they were a tight knit family, and that's something that I didn't come from. They go bowling, they go to the movies together, they sit down and have Sunday dinner together. And I was like, man, y'all actually do that? Because you don't see stuff like that in the movies, so y'all really actually just roll like that. And I looked at her family, and they welcomed me with open arms. They went to church together. I mean, I was like, wow. So I didn't have that when I was going through what I was going through with the last one I was with. And if I talk to anybody about it, man, you just gonna let a dog you like that? I say, bro, now not only am I mad at her, but I'm mad at you now because now you bringing that right back. So I was to the point where the energy that you give me, that's what you're gonna get. And when I met Kelsey, it was like I got okay. Now I can think. Now I can think. I got somebody that I can actually trust. And I've been with this girl for 12 years now. I'm not saying we don't have ups and downs because we do. But I never go to bed angry at this woman. We have disputes here and there. Now, when it first started off, man, everything. I mean, I could have been riding on the unicorn when it first started off. But when you when you hit that first year mark, and that second year is when you're gonna get tested. It's always year two, and that's when everybody feel like they need to get in your business. Like, child, I heard that. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. You've been married what 4 months? You said. Hey, I'm
Hmm.
gonna tell you something. I'm gonna give you the best advice somebody ever give me. Hey, man, keep y'all business in y'all house.
That's
Whatever
right.
y'all got going on, y'all got going on. Don't call your homeboy. Say, man, you don't believe it. Man, she cooked some, man. It didn't come out right. Tell her that. Say, baby, look here, man. That burger was kind of toe up. You know, but it's in your delivery about how things are.
Right.
It's in your delivery about a lot of things, man. So with me, it was trust. Now, once I got that trust back with my wife, my heart was healed. I can go out somewhere, man. I can let her go to Illinois for the weekend. Hey, man, I'm not gonna call you. Have fun, and she'll tell you. I don't call her when she go to Illinois. Like, go ahead, do you? Because if I can't trust you, man, then I don't need to be with you. Point blank. Period.
That's right.
Yeah.
If I mean, I don't look at my wife as a number two. Hey, man, the Bible say, hey, man, y'all become one. That woman coming from my mama. So, and once you get like that in your relationship, like, hey, man, hey, man, that's my one. That's my queen. Don't, that's me right there. Once you earn that, once you get there, and you gonna get there. 4 years, 4 months, you gonna get there. And the longer you in it, the longer you become married, your love is gonna go stronger. The trust, the communication is gonna get better. And you been with her 4 months. I'm telling you, man, you don't actually know somebody till you move in with them. And once you get there, first year, second year, third year, your love and that trust gonna get stronger for that woman. You gonna be like, hey, man, this is it. The longer you with her, the more y'all gonna learn together. So, hey, man, I'm glad you took that jump, man. You 4 months in. I want to know what it's like, man, when you 5 years in. Cause I'm gonna give y'all information before we get off here, and we're gonna stay in contact with each other.
For
That's what
sure.
we, that's what we need to do as men. I don't care if I send y'all a text message, hey V, what's going on today, man? Or, hey CJ, man, what's going down today? You shoot one back, cool.
For
Yeah.
sure.
But that's what we need. We need to challenge ourselves as men and do that.
That's
Most
good.
definitely.
Yeah, good. That was all good stuff, man. I
I
would
know it's
definitely.
heavy, ain't it? It's
Hey,
heavy,
Nah,
ain't
that's
it?
loving it.
that's good for sure. I
Am I
think.
lagging?
No, you
No,
good.
you good.
Okay.
But I think the question was, I guess, what holds men back from really making a decision?
Mhm.
Well, I think it's just making a decision. Because I mean, let's just be honest. When it comes down to, I mean, I'm 22 years old. I'm young. I'm good looking. I got money, and realistically, I chose to be with my wife because, for one, let's just be honest. There's a lot out here that is that is deceiving men, that makes men think it's a lot out here. But realistically, let's just be honest. A man to really take that step into marriage, like my cousin said, it's a choice. You know what I mean? Not trying to have everything together, not trying to be perfect before you find it. Because let's just be honest, like you said before, a lot of this stuff that you are, it's gonna come out when you get married, anyways. Now, is there certain are there foundational things that you need to have right when you get find your wife? Of course, right? But I think there's a lot of men that, and like I said, it's all about this information that we're being fed, right? Like this perfect woman, the 10, like the all this stuff, like, oh, who's that? Like, what is your, what they call, high value man? Like, is all this stuff out here that is feeding people's minds, and you got men who are wondering, okay, well, I don't make this amount of money. Like, okay, so maybe I'm not ready yet. And all of it stems from rejection. Men don't like to be rejected. Let's just be honest. We don't like to be rejected. We don't like to not be accepted. But I tell you, like, when it comes down to why men don't make that decision, this is because, for the most part, most men won't make a decision. We like, when we were out in the world, we had options. We like to have the variety, and for you as a man to come to your realization, say, you know what, I'm going to come to this woman every day. I'm going to commit to her. See, that's the thing. You got to choose to commit. See, many people, and that's with anything. You got men who can't keep a job. You got men who can't. They're indecisive, right? It's these little things that stems, and it comes into when it's time to make it a very important. If you a man and you going out with your woman and you up in there asking her what we gonna eat, what we gonna, like, it's little things. If you ask a woman what we gonna eat, she gonna say I don't know. So it's like, as a man, most of the time, you have to have your mind made up and say, you know what, I'm gonna commit to this. I'm gonna make a decision. We're gonna make it no matter what goes on, and just stick to it. Right? Do I think that, had we been me and my wife been married for 4 months, has everything been great? Yes. Has everything been perfect? No. But that's a part of the decision I made. And I knew, see, when you say I do, you have to think of, when you say for better or for worse, you got to think about that worst thing that could ever happen. And you're saying that when I say I do, if that worst thing happens, I'm still willing to choose you. But see, we listen to the words and just say, oh, it sounds good, to death do us part, for better for worse, and we just saying it. But then when the worst comes, what's happening now? So it's one of those things where it's like, a man has to, and I'm sure all of the men will agree, you have to make a decision. You can't make the decision depending off of solely on looks, because guess what? 30 years from now, she's not going to look the same. You can't make it off of the woman you married is not going to be the same as she is 20 years from now. So you got to be able to choose to love her as she changes, as she evolves, and as you evolve. Y'all have to make a decision to say, "Hey, we're going to do this thing together. I know you're not going to be the same 10 years from now, but I choose you." And that's the thing. If we in a marriage told, I choose you every day, you choose me every day, where's the issues coming in? But the issue comes is when I start choosing myself over her, and I start thinking. See, that's when the issue starts coming in. And so, if a man wants to make a decision on who he's going to marry, for one, seek God. Ask God that the woman that you want, the things that you're looking for in the woman, make sure you're that before you try to. You want a woman who's patient, you need to be patient. You want a woman who is respectful, you got to be respectful. That's just what it is. And then once you pray and ask the Lord, Lord, lead me to this woman, you can't sit here and try to be with her for 5, 6, 7, unless the Lord tell you to, unless the Lord tell you to. But you can't sit here and try to play house for 15 years and then like no, you're choosing to be to play this game rather than to commit, and that's why it's easy for a lot of men to play house rather than to commit and do it for real.
He said,
Wow,
It was great.
that was
That was dope.
that was good. That was really good. I think that these are things that needs to be said and that they don't be saying. We know we get these messages from from you go to church, you get these different messages, but these are the conversations that needs to be had. These are the things that really needs to be said. Um, yeah, this is good. What we got? This is really good. You guys, we're gonna have to have you guys back again. Like we're not gonna be able to cover all
That's
of
fine.
this.
That's fine.
This is we're gonna have to be able. We're gonna have to do it again. We're gonna have to do it again because I know we're not gonna be able to cover like all the things. And I just really felt. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was led by God to do this. Honestly, I really was. So, what we got next, sis?
well, since you guys have been talking about, you guys were just saying how a man has to choose, so we can tie that in with one of the questions. Um, the discipline, like men being disciplined and the pressure to be disciplined, the expectation to be a provider, a protector, a leader. How do you handle that? Because a lot of men do lack discipline. And that's a big thing when you choose, you have to choose to be disciplined. So just you all could chime in on that as being a man. What does it mean to you to be a man, in today's world and the pressure that you're expected, to have that discipline, as a provider, protector, and a leader. So how do you all handle it?
Ah, I seen my father do it for 35 years. All I seen my daddy do was work. So, and this is the Bible says, when I was a child, I thought of the child, I did things as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. So he was always tell me that growing up, I say, man, but I'm still a kid though. So my first job, he always say, man, save your money, save your money, save your money. I'm 15 years old. You need to buy your car. I don't have a driver's license yet. But he saw down the road. I didn't see it. So I saved my money. He taught me how to save my money. Say, man, don't spend your money on shoes and clothes. It's my job to take care of you. Just, I'm trying to teach you something. So I was always disciplined enough to like, you know what? I'm not worried about too much about material stuff. As I got older, I was because I was able to afford these things and didn't hurt my pockets too much. But as a kid, he taught me what a man should be like and what a man should do, how a man should move. As I got old enough to understand, we can have these grown man conversations when you 18, 19 years old. Say, okay, I can't raise you no more. I did the best I could, which, hey man, you never went to jail. I never had to burn you out. I never had to do this or that. So now I can teach you a greater part of the game now to help you get over the hump. And I never look back. So I had that teaching. My father worked at a floral shop for 35 years. I knew how much money he made. I know the type of lifestyle we lived. I mean, I never wanted for anything. So growing up, I always say, hey man, I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy where I know when I get paid, I got enough money to pay my bills and whatever's left over. If I can do something for me, I can. But my wife and I, we doing great now. We're not millionaires, but we good. The first thing I do once we get money, the first thing I tell her, hey man, what do you need and what do these kids need? But so well, first thing we do, I don't care who we always pay tithes. That's the first thing we do. And I said, we're gonna pay tithes, and after that, we're gonna cut the debt. I mean, that's what we do. Because as a man, I feel like it's my place to come last. It's I'm supposed to be a protector and provider. Now, wherever I fit in after that, I'm cool with. Long as my house is good, my kids is good, and I put God first and everything. When I wasn't doing that, I always had a hole in my pocket. So I was disciplined enough growing up. I saw how the older heads in my family moved. And they were able, like you get around the campfire at the reunions, and they tell you, hey man, hey man, don't do that, do this. And you have to be patient enough to listen to them. And that's what we don't have nowadays. We got these children, man. Now you can't tell them nothing, and then they're gonna come back to you, "Wait, man, I can't pay my rent." Hey, man, I told you last week, man, to put $400 back, and when you get paid, you add 400 to it. I mean, it's arithmetic. My money ain't your money. Now, if I give you $800, man, that's $800 that I need for something else that I'm giving to you that I'm not gonna get back. So I talk to my own boys like that. I talk to my own boys like that. This is that I say, man, do this, that, and the third. I say, man, dude, it's this gap that you're not gonna beat. I got you by 20 years, bro. And that was my father. My problem with my father. So I actually sit down and say, "Hey, boss, I can't beat you, man." He say, "What's up? I've been trying to beat you since I was 13. I can't do it." I say, "Man, you know everything I do before I do it." So I had to sit down, man. You got to discipline yourself. I mean, it takes discipline to listen to somebody that's been down the road you've been down. Say, son, hey, man, it's a fork down there. I've been there. Say, man, well, maybe when I get to it, it's not gonna be a fork down there. Maybe I can beat it. You'll never close that gap. I'm 45 years old, so my oldest boy is 22. You'll never close that gap. I don't care how hard you fight it, you'll never beat me. So, and it's not about me beating you, it's about you trying to learn something from me. Because if you're not going to learn from me, you're going to learn from somebody else, you're going to end up in a situation that you don't need to be in. Because the discipline that I tried to give you, you didn't want, you threw it back in my face. So that's what I got from it.
Sure. You said what do we the pressure we feel?
Yeah, like how do you all? Because again, with the discipline and doing that, being how do you cope? How do we deal with the um discipline as a man and you being, the expectation of being a provider, a protector. How do you all deal
Um,
with
uh,
how do you
man,
handle
yeah, like how I handle it. Man, man, this I could put it into words how you handle it. For men, I would say like men, we just gotta know like we for us being providers and protectors. I think for us we have to be productive on a 24/7 on a 24 hour 7 days a week basis. You know what I'm saying? We got to be productive. If it's doing some work around the house, you know, playing with the kids, it's like putting our time into, and then knowing when to get our time to ourselves, to reboot, to kind of go, like I say, go out into the world again and do it all over, and it's like a day-to-day thing. So that discipline comes from that routine. Men have to have a routine because that's what allows us to know, I guess, when something is not in our groove, because for us, for me, I feel like for me, I'm not gonna just say for all men, but for me, um, it's 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 just about me staying on my routine, like I don't get to see my sons every day, so that kind of bothered me, but um, I got other things that other responsibilities, I should say, that I go out into the world and I have to live up to. If it's a job or work, and just people just knowing I keep a smile on my face, because they seen me do it for a year straight. It's like, all right, bro. Other people, you know, not only do your kids need you, but it's people you don't even know need you, right? Because they need you to be that spark, And I think I get up every morning and I just I don't pray as much. I got to get back into praying, but I try to just stay as happy as possible. Um, just knowing like whatever's going on, it's already like it's really dealt with already. God got it dealt with already. So like you just gotta go out and finish doing what you supposed to. You got a job, get to that job, get there, you know, don't complain about nothing that's not in your control. Go out there and do the best that you can do. Be respectful to people, watch how you treat people, and love your kids, I love my mama, I give my mama a kiss every day on the cheek every time I see her. So it's just like, for a man, it's just about staying in your routine, staying in your values, staying in your morals and principles, and it's things outside that's gonna test those. It's gonna be friends, old friends, you know, co-workers, random people on the street. They're gonna try to test that, your morality. If you stand on the things you stand on, and it's always gonna be a challenge for a man to stand on those things because he has people. There's people out here that are actually against that. Uh, so yeah, I think just staying in your routine. Just staying in your routine and just being productive, being a productive man, and just a man of provision, and just you know, and that's how you just stay focused.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, like you said, having a standard for men have to, like I heard a saying say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. When it comes down to us, definitely for me, like having the discipline of being a provider. I think for me, and I think every real man, and I think all of us on here can agree, every real man, especially if we're talking like just providing for your family, providing for your woman, like every real man want to do that. Like that's not something that you have to like convince a man to. If you got to convince a man or a male to do that, I mean, that should kind of give you everything about it. You know what I mean? I mean, like a man, it's that's not something that is like, really embedded in, like that should be a desire for a man to take care of his children, to take care of his woman. Because I mean, let's just be honest. The father takes care of us, and he's the total example of how we should do the same. So I think for me, it's definitely a discipline like learning. I mean, I've always, and that's a good thing about being a young man and growing up, like you learn, you have a standard for yourself. So like even before I got married, I would work out. I played football, so you had to work out. You had to get up on time. You couldn't just sleep in. You eat right. You take care of. It's like it's certain things you have that helps lead into taking care of my woman, taking care of my home, making sure things are done, and then just being able to like understand that it's okay, and people have to understand, like, because you deal with a lot of different people, and some people are like, oh, man shouldn't do this for a woman. That's all stare, that's what the world and all this stuff. Oh no, ain't no man gonna do nothing for me. I don't need. If you go back to how this thing really was, like God made Eve from the rib of a man. So we need each other. Like as much as we try to act like, oh man, I don't need no woman, I don't need no man. That ain't how it is. God made that. He put this thing in place for a reason, and with a divine purpose, right? And as like I said, as a real man, every real man want to be able to take care of his family. It hurts a man if he's not able to. You know what I mean? A real man, man, it make a man feel like trash if he see his kids need something and he physically can't do nothing. Come on, man. Or his woman say, "Baby, I need some shoes. I got to hold them." Man, that'll make a man feel less of a man, right? And so I think for when it comes down to accepting I don't really adopt the world's idea of a responsibility, because I'm not responsible by what the world tell me. I'm responsible by what God tell me. He told me to take care of my wife. He said a man that doesn't take care of his family worse than an infidel. Then that's what I stand on. I have a standard that, hey, I'm going to stand on the word of God. That's my foundation, and that's what I'm leaning on. Anything else out here that tells you, oh, man, I see this stuff. Oh man, like my man give me a $30,000 allowance every week. That stuff is superficial. You know what I mean? Like that stuff is superficial. You got it when it comes down to taking care of your family, taking care of your woman. That is, to me, that's a standard. And I believe if you have a standard and stick to it, like my cousin said, there will be many things to come to distract you. You know what I mean? Like when you know you got money to go to your family, yeah, your homeboys might want to go gamble with you. Yeah, there's gonna be things that try to come to distract what the goal is. But if you keep that tunnel vision of this is what God has entrusted with me, this family, this wife, these kids, my home, my legacy, and you keep that there, nothing. Understand that there will be tests, but it takes the discipline to say, like we said earlier, I choose to do this. I choose to make this, provide for my family, provide for my wife. So
Yeah.
Oh man, this has been really good. We are coming like close to the end. We got so much. We got to unpack some more stuff. This has been really good. I believe this is really going to help some people.
This is fun.
Yeah, you think we should hit
Yeah,
that last question before we number 6, and then we kind of continue with the fatherhood and family going
yeah,
into
yeah. I
the
think we'll do a continue. Yeah, I think you go ahead and hit number 6. We will let that take us out. We'll get everyone, and then we'll just take it from there. Go ahead.
so number 6 it is, how did your upbringing shape your view of masculinity?
Uh, well, I, you know, my, well, coming up, I could say, uh, as a kid, when you come up, you really don't like, like as a young boy, like myself, like I was, you just grow up, you don't really know like what a man is. You just know who your dad is, right? Like, um, being a man can come to you at a young age. It can come to you by your father, you know, being there and letting you know all the rights and the wrongs and the things that you're supposed to do. As a young boy, like help your mother, respect your mother, or take out trash. All these things that create discipline uh, and routine in a young man's life. Uh, my daddy didn't teach those things to me, right? Uh, my mother and my grandma, they taught me those things, right? So like everything I know how to do as a man, like I know how to like clean, cook, you know, landscaping, all that I learned from my grandma, you know, my mama, I learned all those things from them. And my father, he was present in my life, but he had other things, that I feel like he may have gave more attention to, you know. I'm not gonna say care, because I know my pops. I know he loved me, I know he loved me with every bone in his body, But he paid attention to things more than he paid attention to me, and that I think it kind of erased what a man was in my mind at that time coming up, So I got that portrayal from like the streets, what's in the streets, and it's like I'm 30 now. I done been through certain things in my life. I don't want to get deep into that. I realized I could have been dead or I could have been in jail, like, and half the friends that I had now, they not there now, So it's showing it was showing me that I didn't have that guidance to know how to navigate through, you know, the social world, right, or society. I should just say society. You know what I'm saying? And as mothers, I can't blame my mother or my grandmother because as mothers, their job is to nurture us. So they're gonna coddle us. They're gonna make sure nobody hurt us. You know what I'm saying? Like, get away from my baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a man and a father, he gonna stand there. He gonna stand his ground and he gonna tell you, no, we ain't running. We gonna stand right here. And he gonna show you how to fight it, right? We gotta get on our knees, or if we gotta ball up our fists. You see what I'm saying? Like, or I get on our knees and pray, I should say, or ball up our fists. You know what I mean? So it's I didn't have that example, so I think that kind of erased it, the masculinity. Uh, for me, I think it erased it in me a little bit, and then we try to replace it with the things we see going on in the street, right? And that's why the young guys, they think being tough or being a man is picking up a gun, right? Or so you know, Jesus show us what a man is. You know what I'm saying? It's like the perfect representation of what a man is. He was an honest man. He was a just man. He did no wrong. I'm not saying that we should strive to be perfect, but we should strive to be like him. So uh to not have a father who didn't have uh a church background that he came from. That was another thing, that kind of struck me different. But my mom, she brought us up, you know, and I think that helped. But as a man, as becoming a man, I think it was more important for me to be able to look at my father and see something that I needed, rather than my mom. You know what I'm saying? And it's that, and as I have two sons now, and I have to tell their mama that no matter how you look at it, he's gonna look. He needs me there for certain things, and you need me there for certain things, right? So you won't have to stress about certain things. There's certain things that if I'm there, you can say, "Hey, Vernon, could you go see about him, right?" And I'm right on it, right? I didn't have that, So now that I'm a father of two, and just realizing every day like the responsibility that you got to maintain, and just you got to be on it. I can't make no decision that'll take me away from my kids, put them in danger, anything. It's a responsibility that I wasn't shown, and I'm just now learning, you know. And I'm a quick learner, I'm a quick learner. I'm picking up real fast, and it's been a journey, but I didn't have that coming up. So I think I just learned that coming into fatherhood of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, really learned that just having two kids. It's something watching your kids. You know what I'm saying? It's really something.
Uh, I go back. Let me see. With my father, when it came, like he told me one time, I was happy like 10, 11 years old. He working on his truck. He could work on anything. Do anything with his hands. He said, "Hey man, I'm gonna teach you how to change oil." I'm 10 years old. So I don't want to learn how to do that. I want to go play football. He said, "Man, it's gonna come a time in your life, man, where you're gonna have a woman, and something gonna happen in that car, and you're gonna know just about as much as she do." So he told me how to change brakes, change oil, do this, do that, the third. But at the same time, what I really need to know, what I really need to know, I'm not getting. So I tell people this story all the time, and I hate talking about it, but I went to a school where, man, that school should have been condemned.
Mm.
Children my age should have been going to this school. I was 11 years old in sixth grade and saw things that 11-year-olds just supposed to see. And I ended up failing the sixth grade, and my daddy got mad. And I finally told him, "Man, how can you concentrate in an environment where, man, every day somebody get beat up, or they shooting dice or smoking dope? They sold crack at that school. You say no to the dope dealer. You said you got to run from him." I'm like, "Dude, I said no." So now when my father I was finally able, he finally able to say, "Hey man, now I got to teach you how to defend yourself." And he didn't do it. He sent me to a box. He sent me to where people had to teach me how to box. So now when I came back the next year, I'm not afraid anymore. So now I got a chip on my shoulder. So now everybody that got me last year, you gonna get it this year. And I went to that whole year and I gave them everything they wanted. But Vernon said itself, I got three boys now. I got three little boys now. So, and my wife and I, we play a game a lot. I say, "Man, you go upstairs and see if they follow you. And then let me go upstairs and see who follow me." And I always win. So it's like, but that's the way I wanted it. I can't go out this house without I cannot go out this house without all three of us. "Hey, Daddy, where you going?" They ain't gonna say, "Oh man, I just stay here with Mama." This and that. "Dad, you going to the store? Can I go?" Yeah, I want that because I'm trying to. I'd rather for you to be around me because you'll end up being a man one day. Your mother can teach you all the stuff that you need to know about a woman. Your mama can tell you, man, how to cook, how to be clean, how to do this. Because most boys are nasty when they get to a certain age. So she tell them, hey, how to what to look for in a woman, what to do here, what to do there. As a man, I'm gonna show you I'm gonna show you how to take care of business. I'm gonna show you what type of friends you need to hang around. I'm gonna say, "Hey man, ain't nothing there, it ain't nothing out there in the streets at 3 o'clock in the morning." I've been there. My daddy told me that and I thought he was lying. He was right. Ain't nothing out there at 3 o'clock in the morning but trouble. So I did the club thing and I got tired of doing that. So me now as a father, I'm glad when I go out, man, come home that I can actually lay my head on the pillow knowing that I actually went out there and got it. So Then I go up there and I look at them, and if they don't see me all day, when they finally see me and they run to you and hug you like that, man, that's one
Man,
of the best. That's one of the best feelings in the world. Hey, man, you know. And then you got she ain't gonna tell them when your daddy get here, go ahead and hug and make it feel good. No, she ain't gotta tell them that. It's actual. I could come in the house and you could hear the footsteps upstairs. They racing to get down here. Man, that was coming from a place of hate. That man, when I got home, I was like, oh man, he here. It ain't like man. It's like when I get home, daddy here. I'm like, oh yeah. Then I'll be like, oh man, here they come. So, but I'm happy to see them. It's that when as a father, when you know you've done your job, you've done your part. Don't nobody gotta tell you you're a good man. Oh, you're a good man. Baby, I know that. I don't need to be told that. But at the same time, it feels good to know that. Like somebody say, baby, look, you do a lot around here. If it wasn't for you, I don't know what I would do without you. It feels good for a man to hear that. And a man will be lying if you say, man, I don't need to hear that. Yeah, you do. Because that's what's going to push you to keep you going forward. Because if you don't hear it, then guess what? Hey, man, they don't care. What am I doing this for? All I get is questions and complaints. Every time I do something, I can do 99 things right when I do one thing wrong. I don't hear about the 99, I hear about the one. So as a man, when you continually get beat upside your head, it's going to finally come to like, hey, man, you know what? I don't have time for this. I'm just take care of my boys, man. I don't need you. And when a man say that, you say, hey, man, you know, hey, man, he had enough. But it's not. It's about it's about all the things we talked about. You got stress. You got emotional damage. You got trust issues. You got people on your back, and you fight out there so you don't have to come in here and fight. I fought out here. When I'm at home, I shouldn't have to fight when I get here. And if you can't understand that, I tell my boys the same thing, and it's not fair. You done got beat upside your head all day at work, man. You tired as a dog. It's not fair to tell them boys, hey man, I'm tired. I can't do it. No, they deserve a little bit of your time too. So that's my perspective on it.
for sure, for sure.
I'll be brief. Oh God. So my childhood, I think for the way my childhood shaped my view of masculinity, or I guess just manhood. Um, I think like you guys mentioned it. I think you learn a lot of the face value things, like how to count money, how to talk to women, like you learn some of those things, and I think they were helpful. My father, he was very good with money. He was a pastor. He taught us about the Lord. Um, and he always, that's one thing he definitely, he taught us how to, how to, like, when it was Mother's Day, like he'll take us to, get flowers for my mama, like to make sure, like, hey, always take care of your mama. Like, I remember every night, like when we was little, he would always, my dad would always take me, and I would go down and lock the doors with him. He's like, I always make sure the door is locked, always check the back doors, always, like stuff like that. I definitely say shaped, like, like you learn those, I wouldn't say superficial, but you learn those face value things of what it's like to be a man in your home. I think one thing as well is just, I think you learn so much of those things that I think you get older and you realize some of the stuff you realize you didn't know. And I think that's when because I mean, as you're growing up, I'll say, like, learning how to deal with money well, with that, learning how to treat women, things like that. And you obviously, like, let's just be honest, like, we all had parents, and none of our parents were perfect. You know what I mean? Like, we can't say they weren't, but we can say is our parents did what they had to do to make sure we are who we are today, right? And I think when you get older, for me, like, when I got older, got to college, I'm a person who is I'm a very observant person. So even when I was little, I saw and, like, paid attention to things that people be like, you knew that, or you remember that, or you saw that. Like, yeah, that was me. So there's a lot of things that I picked up on that shaped me into the man that I am today, good and bad. But then at the same time, it's like, you as a man, once you get older, you start realizing there's certain things that, like, man, like, that I mean, everything is learned behavior, right? So like maybe like if you had a father who was maybe not the most emotionally like available, or like just then you start you learn some of those things. You learn some of those things, right? And I think as you get older, for me, as I got older, I learned there's a lot of things that I took, and there's a lot of things that I had to let go, because it's like at the end of the day, like I think one of you guys mentioned, I think Vernon mentioned earlier, the man that I want to be and need to be is I got to be like who Jesus is. And I think there's certain things that as I get closer to him, I'm learning how to be a man, like emotional intelligence, like not being hard with a woman, not talking, there's certain things that you learn that it's like, okay, as a man, like I need to know these things that maybe I didn't pick up. Maybe I didn't know. Like, do I know how to handle money? Do I know how to talk to, like, do I know like these things? Like I've took a lot from growing up, right? But I think there's a lot of things as well that I learned as I got older as well, that you see from the world around you that, oh man, like you gotta have emotional, like you can't go to your job and just be irritated, or like the smallest things to like body language. Like man, you can't just go on the job with your face all turned up, or your body language, you all sitting in your chair. Like those things that mean a lot, like I'm learning, and I feel like I learned today. So I think for me, like masculinity, obviously for every son who has a father in his home, your first sight of masculinity is going to be your father. And then at that point, I think, because at the end of the day, every father usually say, "I want you to be better than me." So you're going to grow up as looking like your father, and then as you bloom, you're going to start picking up things that maybe your father wasn't well. So maybe my dad wasn't a good public speaker, or maybe he wasn't this, and you start learning these things that I need to have. And so I think for me, that's where I was. Where man, I feel like there's a lot of me that I say, man, I'm like my dad. Like, damn, bro, I'm like my dad. And then there's things as I grow up as well that it's like, okay, boom, I'm gonna take this because this really like this is gonna be beneficial. All right, maybe I'm not gonna take this. Maybe I don't need this, right? And that I feel like that's what really makes you whole, is one, when you allow the Lord to equip you with these things that maybe you didn't get as a child, and now that I'm getting it as I'm older, I think that's really helping me shape my idea of who God's called me to be as a man. Is one, I had the vision as the father, right? That was my vision of who a man is, and I take what I can from it, take what I need from it, and then whatever else, it's like eating some catfish, right? You're gonna chew the meat, and whatever bones you got out of it, you're gonna spit the bones out. So that's for me.
It's your wine and cook.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to say, um, we hope that these swords of wisdom the men has spit out today, that will use these to shape things that they move forward, because I think we really had some today. I think we're gonna have to do a part two, because this was really, really good. And what I like about it is I think that what I always tell my sister, I've said on the podcast many times, that we have to help heal each other. And I think that these conversations you all had today, I think this was, I believe you guys helped each other and help other people watching. And what we don't talk about as women is even how watching these conversations heal and take place with us as well. In areas that we were deficient in, or areas that were um, taken, that were wounded by men, because we do have those as women. And I think that listening to you all really, for me, it actually, helping me on my journey as well. So I just want to say I really, really, really appreciate you guys today. And we will be doing a part two to continue on, because we even have more questions. So, Liz, you got something to say before we go out? That's all I have.
Yeah, I wanted to say, really do appreciate you all coming in, because, like you said, it really does
I can't hear
give us
you.
a good.
I can't hear
Can
you.
you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you
Yeah,
now.
talking
Yeah,
to.
go ahead.
I
Talking
said,
to your mic.
I appreciate that you all came on, because it does enlighten us, and it really open our understanding, because like you said, it's things that we have have been through or wounds that we have may have gotten placed, like you said, by men. But when you get a man perspective of how you guys think of things and with the things that you all go through, it makes you understand that sometimes it's not us, it's just the things that you have may have gone through, um, upbringings and different things that you may have gone through or haven't coped with, or things that you may deal with on the inside that it's harder, maybe hard for some men to express, but they think the same, they feel similar, and it just helps us to be able to enlighten us, give us the understanding of what you all think and may, feel and the things that you go through to make us a little bit more understanding to the things that men go through that, sometimes we can't tap into as women, and we can learn how to tap into it just by listening to you guys. It gives us a really much better understanding. So, we appreciate y'all. It was great. Really do. Really, really, really do. I don't know what's wrong with
Yeah,
my
you
mic.
got it. Yeah, talking to your mic. You
And,
got
and,
it.
I'm hoarse too. So, I've been battling with this cough, so my voice be going in and out. But like I said, we really appreciate you. You really enlighten us. Um, just on how men think the perspective. Like it's really, really good to hear. But sometimes we couldn't really do anything but sit here and just listen. Like it wasn't a whole lot, that we could really put an opinion on because it was just raw. It was just genuine. It was just what we as women, and I hope others will come in and listen to the podcast and really see that sometimes we don't really need to say anything. We just need to listen, and listen to what men are saying and what they're feeling. We'll get a lot more by just sometimes listening, and being able to understand and hear where you come from because it's we don't you don't need our opinion on everything. Sometimes you just need us to hear it and listen and take it in, and be aware of what's going on and what you guys are feeling. So I can't wait to
Yep.
part two.
Yep. So we thank you guys. We thank everybody for watching, and we will see you on the next Sister
Y'all stay on so y'all
Spill.
can get numbers.
Yeah, y'all stay on. Yep. So we'll see you
Okay.
guys for the next Sister Spill podcast and Brothers 4.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Ready or not,
My phone died.
ready, ready or not, here I come, can't hide, gonna find you, and